Hey everyone, it's Anna. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. I wanted to come on and introduce you to the inspiration hashtag for the month of October. I know a lot of us are going to be starting our holiday crafting if we haven't already, and I know a lot of us are completely head over heels for gingerbread and cookies and holiday baking in our paper crafts. So I thought, why not completely embrace the idea, and we are going to be baking in October for our inspiration this month. I think this will be a really fun and easy hashtag for everyone to participate in, because we make so many items that are baking themed or cookie themed with our holiday crafting, and so I'm excited to see the gallery of this particular hashtag fill up with all kinds of inspiration for us. So baking in October is the hashtag for the month. So let me go ahead and just set that there for your reference. I did make some cards to share with you, so let me go ahead and share some of the products I used, and then I'll also share my cards with you. So all of the cards that I made 3 cards. 2 of them are baking themed. One of them is just a bonus because I made it tonight and I want to share it with you. But all of them use paper from this Christmas season Maha Designs paper pad. This is a 6x6 pack of paper that I purchased last year from either scrapbook.com or maybe Frantic Stamper. I'm not sure which, but it's really beautiful. It has really small petite prints, which are perfect for card making, and of course beautiful holiday colors. So I used that. I also used on all of my cards this Milang watercolor set, and not only did I paint my images with the watercolors themselves, but I also used these 3 shimmer paints on my cards as well. These the copper or brass, maybe, I'm not sure, I think it's copper, as far as what it's called on the set, and this white shimmer and the gold shimmer are paints that I find that I'm using on almost all of my projects lately, and so I'm really enjoying these as well. And then on one of my cards I painted cheeks pink, and I used this light pink shimmer watercolor. So I used that set, and then I also used, let's see, some of this red twine I picked up last year at probably Home Goods. So it's just a red natural twine. It has gold thread woven in it as well. I also used some of this Crafter's Square jute cord on one of my projects. And then I also used this natural cord here as well. It's a much finer variety, and it's from Creative Impressions, and this is old and probably no longer available anymore, but it's exactly like the stuff you can get from May Arts, which I know is still available. And then I also used on one of my cards, at least one of them anyways, this really pretty gold DMC thread that I got from subscriber and friend Lisa. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sending this to me last year. I love it. And then let's see, as far as dies, I used this set on all of my cards. This is an old, like 18 or more years old, so I doubt it's available anymore. You might be able to find it on eBay, but this was a collaboration between Prima Marketing and Sizzix. And in addition to these 3 dies here, it had a couple other things as well, which I've probably sorted into other magnet sheets and no longer have associated with these, obviously. But these 3 dies I really enjoy using and actually use them quite often. So this is, again, a collaboration between Sizzix and Prima Marketing. Let's see. As far as ink, I used Archival Black ink. I used Archival Vintage Photo. I used Distress Vintage Photo. And I also used some Inktense colored pencils. I also used a little water spritzer. This happens to be the one from Stampendous. I really like the spray on this particular bottle. And then I, of course, used my tracing wheel for lots of faux stitching. And I think that might be about it. So, except for the stamps, of course. So my first card, I used this Gingerberry Basket stamp. This is one of my new Whippersnapper Designs releases that just launched. And of course you can see it's gingerbread and candy canes in a little berry basket. And there's the stamp itself. And this is MT164, and the website that is at the bottom here is where they're available, whippersnapperdesigns.com. Or if you're lucky enough to be in the area of Brookfield, Wisconsin, you can stop in at Creative Pals, the scrapbook store there, and they have all of the Whippersnapper Designs stamps there as well. I also used this one here. It's called Montana Sweetheart, and it's AT673. And this is what that stamp looks like. It's a fairly good size stamp. And the fun fact about this particular stamp, this is part of a love letter that my great-grandfather wrote to my great-grandmother the day before they were married, April 24th, 1928. And not only is it part of the letter, but it's also his handwriting, and a portion of his signature. I didn't include the whole signature, but that's a portion of his signature, and it says, "With all my love, RK." So I love using that stamp on my cards. I'm so happy to have that one. And then this one I also used, AT650. It's called Woven Hearts, and if you look closely, the design of this particular stamp are all hearts, and I love the homespun look of this particular background stamp. And there's that stamp. And let's see. I think that's it for my first card, so let me go ahead and share it with you. So this is my first card for the Baking in October inspiration series. So you can see the stamp there. I stamped it on some B watercolor paper, and I painted it with not only distress ink, because when I stamped it in black, and then I stamped it again in the distress ink. So I was able to spritz it, and it made the entire paper look tea-dyed. So once the paper was dry again, I used my watercolors and my Inktense pencils to watercolor the image. And then of course I added the Montana Sweetheart stamp in the background there for some interest. And I actually stamped the Montana Sweetheart on this red piece here, up here in the corner and down here in the bottom corner. And you might be able to see, I also splattered this one with the beautiful shimmery watercolor pigments as well. So this card really has a lot of sparkle. I also added a cute little gingerbread charm there, and I just picked these up on eBay last year. And so I have a whole bunch of them to use this year because I received them last year pretty close to Christmas, and I had done a lot of my crafting already. So I'm excited to be able to use those this year. And I think this card turned out really cute. I actually really love how the stamping looks there in the background. It has a really beautiful watercolor look to it. So what I do when I stamp the stamp, I'll give you a quick little demo. So here's the stamp. And keep in mind, I am stamping it on watercolor paper here. So it has a little bit of different resistance or performance than, say, a regular cardstock. So what I do is I actually ink the stamp with a vintage photo distress ink, and it's important that the ink that you use reacts with water. So I give it a quick inking with the distress ink, and then I use my little water spritzer bottle to give the stamp a couple of really light spritzes of water. And then let me grab a piece of watercolor paper. Let's see, here's one here. So this is just a piece of Canson watercolor paper. So then what I'm going to do is pretend that my stamped image is here already, and it's, at the center of my paper here, and I just want to add my background stamping here on the back. So once I have my stamp inked and misted, then I'm going to turn my paper over and just gently press it, a portion of it, on my stamp. You can see how it doesn't look very complete, and it almost looks like it's watercolored. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here as well. So see there, you can see how some of it looks watercolored and some of it actually looks clear enough that you can read it. And then just set this aside to dry, and it will turn out to be really beautiful like this in the background. Now, I also, before I stamped the image, I had already inked the background and made it, brown, and it was already watercolored. So I did this stamping over my painted and distressed image already. So that's how that image is standing up on top of the distressing in the background. But see, you can already see it's already looking so beautiful. I love how it looks like it's watercolored here and yet still clear enough to read. You can also mist this again with water if you want to obliterate more of the visible inking. But I think that looks so pretty, and I'm going to set this aside and use this on another card. And then give your stamp a good cleaning once you're done with it. Don't leave that water sitting on the stamp. You want to clean that off. So, and that's it. That's how I have been creating my fun inky backgrounds. So this is my first card. Let's see, what else do I want to show you? On the inside, I used a sentiment called Sending Snuggly Hugs, and that one is from Whippersnapper as well, if I didn't share that with you. And I also splattered the inside of the card with the gold watercolor pigments. And then on the back, not only did I splatter the card with the watercolor pigments, but I also added the scrap papers here just so they didn't go to waste. And then I stamped one of my favorite handmade stamps here and signed my name. So that's my first card for baking in October. And let me go ahead and share the products that I used for my second card. I used this Gingers and Candy Canes stamp. So you can see two little gingers here with some candy canes and some pine boughs. And then they're all sitting in a little flour sifter. I think that's really cute. So Ginger and Candy Canes MT165 is the item number, and there's the stamp itself. And of course I used the same paper, the same die set. I also used the Montana Sweetheart stamp on this card as well. So let me go ahead and show my card with you, share my card with you. So there's my cute little Gingers and Candy Canes. The image is stamped in black archival ink, so this little pad here, on B watercolor paper and painted with my watercolors. And here you can see maybe where I added that pink shimmer ink, or that shimmer watercolor, to their cheeks. So I think that turned out really cute. And the Montana Sweetheart is stamped here in the background, just like I showed you when I created this little sample. I also stamped Montana Sweetheart here on the green layer of pattern paper as well, just for a little bit more interest, and then gave everything a really good splatter of copper or gold watercolor pigments. Here's where I added that gold twine to my bow here. I think that looks really pretty, and I added a gold accent layer behind. So I think this card turned out really fun. On the inside, this one is just blank, and you might be able to see I splattered it with the watercolor. And then on the back, it's lightly splattered, but I again stamped my little Handmade by Anna stamp. And I think this card turned out really cute. I'm so happy with it. And then, let's see. My last card that I'll share with you is not baking themed, but I'll share it anyway as a bonus. It is made with my Rustic Joy Snowman stamp. And this is another one of my recently released stamps with Whippersnapper. And there's the stamp image there. And again, I used the Montana Sweetheart. So I used this particular stamp on all three of my cards. And I think that's it. Let me go ahead and share my card with you. So I used the same technique where I stamped the image on the watercolor paper with the archival ink, and then I painted it with the watercolors. Here I added some pink shimmer watercolor paint to his cheeks, and here you can see the Montana Sweetheart stamped in the background. I also stamped Montana Sweetheart back here on this blue pattern paper. And once I had everything painted, then I gave everything a really good splattering with the gold and copper watercolor pigments. And then this piece of gold here is done with that die cut piece. So instead of using the whole entire die cut piece as a frame, I just cut off the top edge of it and used that as an accent piece. And I wanted something, even though this is such a shabby, prim stamp design, I wanted something to dress up this card with a little bit more pizzazz. So I thought that would be a good addition there to my card. And then this is the twine from the Dollar Tree, the Crafter's Square cording. And here you can see where I added lots of faux stitching on my watercolor panel as well. And even on the background here, I did lots of faux stitching as well. The inside of this card is completely blank, aside from some splattering of watercolors. And the back I did the same way as the others, where I just added the extra piece of pattern paper and then stamped my Handmade by Anna stamp. So this is a bonus card for you. It does not qualify really for baking in October, but he turned out really cute, I think, and really pleased with how he turned out tonight. So those are my cards for you so far for the baking in October. And not to give anything away, but I have lots of other baking samples that I'll be creating this month. Not only do I have more baking stamps coming out with Whippersnapper, but I also have a lot of baking themed items that will be releasing with Impression Obsession this month. So don't tell anyone. But I hope you are all inspired to participate in this month's hashtag. I can't wait to see everything that's uploaded because I know everything is going to be so inspiring, and it's going to fuel our creativity for our baking holiday crafting. So thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you all enjoyed my cards, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!